To start our cake, we're going to add a dollop of buttercream right on top of our 8-inch cake board so that once we add our first layer, the cake won't slide around. And in between each layer, we're going to add about a half a cup to a cup of frosting. And using our offset spatula, we're just going to spread the frosting evenly around the layer. To finish off that even layer, just hold your hand steady and using your other hand, spin the turntable so that you get a nice even layer of frosting. And repeat that same process for each layer of your cake. And you want to make sure that after you add each layer, just get eye level and spin the turntable to make sure that it's all even. And we'll just speed this up a bit just so you can see the whole process. And when you're ready for the top layer, remember to turn your layer upside down so that the bottom is on the top. And this helps to give you a nice flat cake top and sharp edges. Once you're satisfied with how your cake is stacked, let's go ahead and add our crumb coat. And this is just a thin layer of frosting around the cake to trap in all of the crumbs so that it doesn't end up in the final layer of frosting. Now this layer does not have to be perfectly smooth, but it definitely helps to be as smooth as possible so that nothing comes out in the final layer of frosting. Now to clean up the top edges, go ahead and take your offset spatula and just pull in the edges towards the center of the cake. And be sure to wipe off your offset spatula after each pass to the center, so this way you're not adding any more frosting back onto the cake. And once you're all done, just place it in the freezer to set the frosting for about 10 minutes. And while our cake is chilling, let's go ahead and color our frosting. I'm using about a cup to a cup and a half of vanilla buttercream and just adding 2 drops of the food coloring. Remember, a little goes a long way, so it's best to add a little bit at a time. Our cake is ready for the final layer, so let's grab our pink frosting and start adding it around the base of the cake. For this cake, we're not actually going to frost the entire cake pink, so we're only going to add about halfway up the cake, and then we'll fill in the rest with the white vanilla buttercream. And make sure you're getting a nice, even, thick layer all the way around. And you can see here that I started using my straight edge spatula. If you have one, that's great. If not, you can certainly still use your offset spatula. And what's great about this design is that the colors don't need to be added in a perfect line. This is going to look like a nice organic color transition. Now we're ready to add the white vanilla buttercream. And when I do this type of design, I like to start using the other color from the top and work my way down. And I do this for a few reasons. One, to make sure we're getting a nice, flat, even coat of the buttercream on the top of the cake. And 2, because I don't want to mix in the colors just yet, to make sure that I leave white on top and not mixing any pink in the top either. Now we're working our way down the cake, and I like to make sure that I'm doing a nice thick coat of frosting around the top edge, because this is where we're going to want to have a little bit of an overhang so that we can cut it off with our hot knife and get those really nice, crisp, sharp edges. Now we worked our way down, and now we're meeting up with the pink color. So it's totally okay at this point if a little bit of pink gets into the white and vice versa. That's actually what we want with this design. So now that we're all done with that, let's go ahead and blend the colors together using our spatula. Again, this just really helps give a more organic look to the 2 colors being combined. So now we're ready to smooth out our cake. So let's grab our bench scraper and hold it at a 45-degree angle. And with light pressure, guide it around the cake as you spin the turntable with your opposite hand. And after the first pass, you'll start to see areas where you'll need to fill in with some more buttercream. So go ahead and do that, and let's repeat the process until we're satisfied with how smooth your cake is. Now keep in mind that this process could take several minutes, so definitely be patient. And just know that at the end, everything will look great. And once you're at the point where you're satisfied with how smooth your cake is, let's heat up our bench scraper under hot water and do one more pass around the cake. This will give you a super smooth finish. And let's go ahead and grab our bench scraper again and just clean off the cake board before we set the buttercream in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes. While our cake is chilling, let's set up our piping bag. And to add the tip, we're just going to score the piping bag with the tip inserted right where we want to cut the bag. This has always worked so well for me, and I've never had an issue with the tips popping out. Now with the piping bag inserted into a tall glass, we're going to add white buttercream to one side and pink to the other. Once done, just pull the bag out and start to twist the bag and squeeze some pressure from the top to guide the frosting down towards the tip. And now just squeeze a little bit out to make sure that we're getting both colors coming out of the tip. Okay, so now our cake has fully chilled in the fridge. Let's grab a knife and run it under hot water to heat it up, and go ahead and slice off the top edge. Continue to use the heat from your knife or from your offset spatula to smooth everything out. And now we're ready to add the top ruffles to the cake. Now starting about a ½ inch from the edge, go ahead and do a up and down motion while squeezing out the buttercream. This is a great beginner-friendly way to get some really cute ruffles on the top of the cake. And don't worry if you don't like how they come out, because then you can just wipe it off and start again. Then you can go ahead and sprinkle those rainbow sprinkles right on top. Now for the silver cherries, take a cherry and go ahead and dip it right into that silver glitter and try to coat it as much as possible. For this cake, I only used 7 cherries, and I picked out the best ones from the jar. Then you can add it to every other ruffle on top, and it gives it a nice finished look.